Unique New York. Unique New York. Hey everybody. We're here to talk about a very special knife in our hearts, and I'm sure all of yours as well. That is the Benchmade 535 Bugout.
Except...
And its counterfeit counterpart.
Won't you join us?
So let's get into it. Forever, what do you think about this particular knife?
You speak?
Oh my god, your hand.
Well, let's get into it. Let's get into the unboxing.
That's fine.
If these two can contain themselves for one goddamn minute.
I'm fine.
Well, one of the first big differences I'm noticing here is that the packaging material is
Quite a bit different. Quite a bit different.
The color's a little bit off, and then in the B-roll you're going to see right about now, the font is drastically different. And then
they tried though.
The bottom of the box, it's not even close.
No.
Do they even recycle?
Oh, they do. They do recycle.
It says it.
That's recyclable material right there.
Box consumer.
It's 75% post-consume waste.
I mean, look how flimsy the bottom of this box is. Of course it's recycled.
Oh.
Well, that's a major difference we're seeing right off the bat. And then, Alistair, why don't you do the... actually, Chad, you're closer. Why don't you do the pleasure of opening it?
Which one first?
Both of them.
Okay, so which one do we have here, Chad?
Oh, this is the real Bugout in a very fancy case.
That you can't open.
Ooh.
This one cut me, this little fucker. Oh, no, it wasn't this one. This one's okay.
It was, though.
Yeah. So we got this guy.
One thing I'd like to point out right now.
Like
This knife is forged using a cold forging technique.
forging.
So bear that in mind when you counterfeits. Cold forging, that's what you want. That's what you want.
Nice Velcro on that.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I got to say one of the first things
I can't tell.
Well, I mean, one of the first things I'm noticing
clip
is
is
that
terrible.
It's terrible.
So terrible.
the hardware here is completely different, and then the plastic is different too.
Not just the thumb studs, but if we get a quick side profile, we'll look at those back spacers. So the deal with the Bugout, it's sought after, right? You've got, at least on this model, your blue back spacers. You've got your tan on your GRY-1s. But this uses all...
Wait, which one is that?
The other one.
People know, don't worry. This uses silver, so it's not in line with the handle or the Bugout whatsoever.
Are they interchangeable?
On these two,
No, that's a good question.
My God,
We
that's
might
excellent.
find out.
They're not interchangeable.
That looks.
not?
This is
They're
a
not.
lot wider than this one.
It's a lot wider.
Oh.
Yeah,
Well, look at the blade. The blade is quite a bit thicker.
goes from like an 1/8 inch. No, it goes from like... Yeah, no, it goes to almost like an 1/8 inch thickness there.
The grind is a little bit higher than the fake.
Font's off. Everything is off.
I think we've all agreed to... So I apologize.
No, it's
Go for
okay.
it.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, I think we've all agreed to the handle in hand. This feels quite a bit cheaper
Oh yeah.
than this does.
But anybody who's never handled a Bugout or doesn't know a Bugout will be like, oh, this is great, this is cool, this is exactly like Benchmade's website.
Yeah.
I mean, the color's always different on the website
Yeah,
on
of
the
course.
computer, but no big deal. I got a real one. It's cool.
Yeah, that'd be a very easy thing to do.
Yes.
For sure.
And we get a lot of counterfeits in, so this is why we're doing this video.
So this room just feels like plastic garbage for the.
But if you never held a real Bugout,
Well, what I think, my thought on it is that it's like a toy that I had back when I was a kid, and it was just, you could tell it was I mean, for a toy, it was good material, but it's just a cheap plastic toy material.
Army men.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's garbage. It's nothing but.
And then
so we
one of
need to catch them on fire with magnifying glass.
One of the big differences I'm seeing here right off the bat
In
is that
3
the
months.
angles are wrong. Like this has a little bit sharper machining, and then on the plastic itself, I don't think you can cast plastic quite with that texture. You have to do some sort of extra machining or manufacturing process to get that. But they added texturing all the way through, Whereas on the real bug out, it's got these nice smooth angles that have been finished off in a single cast. And then it's got these bumps on here, this checkerboard pattern, which was part of the original casting. This has obviously had some additional manufacturing processes applied in order to replicate this.
Well,
I'd be curious to see if it's even like fiber reinforced plastic. It might not be.
well, flip it over. You even got the pivot on this one is flat, while you got that one half rounded. But you flip it over onto the other side. Why is it rounded on this side? You know, I mean,
The screws are also completely different as well.
The flush.
Yeah, they're
On the
flush.
real, and they're definitely raised on the counterfeit.
Probably saves a little bit on machining costs.
and then go straight up on them, or like this right here. Just notice how the metal is kind of popping in on the
Yeah, so
inside.
the final machining process isn't as refined as it is on the actual bug out.
Shall we tear it apart?
Yeah. Well, they're claiming S30V, and for all the viewers at home, we do have the capability to Rockwell things. And although we don't think this is actually S30V, it might be like 440C or some other kind of stainless. It does Rockwell at 59, which is roughly in the same range that the real bug out Rockwell's in.
Yeah, so Benchmade claims their S30 Rockwell's 58 to 60, so it's right there.
Well, who wants to do the honors and we can compare? Oh,
I think Lori.
isn't this supposed to have a titanium or aluminum? Axis lock?
The lock
This
bar,
guy should.
the lock bar should be titanium.
Now, are the end caps titanium?
That's an excellent question.
We can find out.
Are.
Yeah, find out right now. No, they're not. Well, that's the fake. No, the end of the...
It's catching on the blade, which happens.
Okay, we'll have to take it out and find out.
What about the
Is it? Oh, the-
Omega spring?
The stainless steel liners.
Yeah, we'll take it out and find out if it's the same material, because that would be definitely a cost-saving measure they could apply. That would make a difference. Do you have two of those the same size? I can
Nope.
work on this one.
Don't.
Nope. Just do the small ones, not the big ones.
Oh, would you look at that? Oh, that's...
Should we keep this hardware separate as well? I should have brought two of those trays down.
We'll just mix it all together, figure it out in the end.
Wonder. Hey, you got a sharp... I got a sharp knife here. We can find out. Let's see if this is even fiber reinforced plastic. Oh, now you can hear it.
Yeah.
What are you doing with that?
I'm cutting fibers in the plastic. It's a fake. We don't care, do we?
I'm just asking what you're doing with that.
So if you ever want to see a potential what kind of plastic something is, if you want to see it's fiber reinforced or similar plastic like they use on tools and stuff in the store, you can take a knife to it and you can kind of grate it a little bit.
Do you do that at Home Depot?
Oh, fun fact about this guy that we learned today. So a classic bug out is on phosphorus bronze washers. This counterfeit is actually running on bearings.
Which is weird.
Very odd. The blade is free in that's going to fall out in a minute. Just a heads up. It's odd for a counterfeit. Right, because why would they spend the extra cost to outfit bearings? Doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Oh!
And as
look
we
at
see-
this.
Yeah, ball bearings.
Bearings.
Yeah, that is weird.
Chad, do you have those washers handy?
I do.
Let me pop them in my hand real quick. So
Can I get the smaller
Only
one so
one
I
of
can
them.
finish taking apart the scale?
counterfeit, genuine.
What's that? Yeah.
Counterfeit. Just kidding.
That's interesting. This screw is just turning free in there. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, you should put some pressure again. So
Why doesn't it...
Gotta force it.
yeah, pry it open.
Do it.
that.
Put your back into it. By the way.
This guy doesn't want to come up.
There we go.
What are you-
Bubbles.
I'm not sure what.
Oh,
it's
wow. They did machine this on like a CNC. That is not cost saving at
this?
all.
So these have to.
Yeah, we're
You have
gonna
to do
take
the
the
other
other side. Yeah, or did? Oh, we got up there.
Oh, yeah, that's my fault.
Yeah, I mean, look at this.
When you reach around you.
I mean, it's got to be fairly cost saving. When you look at the machine done on the bug out, all that's done to save weight. I have no doubt.
Yeah.
That's not done with machining. That's cast that way.
I mean, either way, even if it's cast that way, that's just
mold
done to
inject
save weight.
plastic?
But
Yeah, you can see the mold points here.
that didn't take the time, right? That was CNC'd. So,
Actually,
Be more time, right?
yeah.
I mean, if you
Exactly,
look at
but
this, the molding on this is actually really clean. That's really
But it's
impressive.
actually very structurally sound too. It's not just like
Oh
a
yeah.
hollow
It
piece.
has like the ribs in it.
Yeah.
Well, no, there's definitely a weight difference, but I'm looking at the Benchmade here, and one of the big things I'm seeing here is as they make molds over time, the edges will start to wear. And I know Benchmade has made a literal metric shit ton of these things, and they reuse the same molds over and over again. That means that Benchmade retires their molds before they start to have any serious wear on them, and they make new ones. That's actually not a cost-saving measure. That's a quality control measure that a lot of companies, even high-end tool manufacturers and other people, don't do.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So that doesn't necessarily have anything to do with the structure, but that has a lot to do with the fit and finish and shows a lot of pride in their work. That's impressive.
Terrible quality control. I mean, what?
Yeah, people say Benchmade has terrible quality control, but I'm looking at that and how many hundreds of thousands of these things have they pumped out.
Oh my god, so many.
It's good. Yeah.
And this is a recent one, so like the mold is not wearing at all, or they've replaced the mold, because fiber reinforced plastic like that destroys fucking molds. Which is why maybe this is a cost saving measure. They roughly mold it in the shape and then they machine it to the correct shape and parameters after it's got the rough profile in order to save on the mold costs. Which, I mean, look at that. It still has like fucking stuff left over from the CNC cutting it.
A little flash though.
Yeah, look at that. There's pretty major internal differences as far as the hardware is concerned. So this would be the actual bug out one, right? And you can see that they've cut out material in order to save weight. It's just interesting.
It is. It's always interesting to see the internals of clones that come through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But for any random person, it would be just like a normal Benchmade.
Well, I mean, if anyone was going to pick up anything educational from this episode, is if someone's trying to market you a $100 plus Benchmade knife, and you pick it up and you can see visible machining marks on the outside that add stippling, and you see visible machining marks for the cross hashing or the checkering here, it's a fake. Or they put really cheap ass aftermarket scales on it.
Yeah.
But I don't even think this would fit on the original because the hardware shape is completely different.
It's very different. Yeah.
Yeah.
Even the Omega springs are different. So,
Oh my.
fake. Sorry. Real. Real ones are hooked in more, and the fake ones are not.
The fake ones look like they're retained. They're both retained by the actual frame, but
Oh, let me get the other one.
can I get the liner real quick for the fake one?
Yeah.
And the real one, which fell?
I'm curious about.
So like one major difference you see here is that they'd be extremely similar. The only real major difference is for a cost saving measure, this is heavier. And it's not just heavier because it's got the extra material, it's heavier because there's something else going on. This still has a fucking stud in it. This is a completely different material. It's also...
Are they magnetic?
No, well, let's find out. Everything else has been so far. Yeah. So it's not stainless.
Steel.
It's not high grade
So
stainless.
it's steel.
It's just steel.
I'm sure they both have to be stainless liners.
Yeah.
I thought the axis lock was titanium on the real one and not on the fake one.
The bar should be.
So the I put the fake one is magnetic. The real one is.
What I mean, look at
titanium.
the Omega springs.
They
Very
are.
different.
They are very different.
Oh my gosh. The real one is aluminum or titanium?
Titanium.
Titanium.
Okay.
It's a word on the street anyway.
So the real one's titanium. The fake one is obviously steel.
Yeah.
And then one major differentiator I'm seeing here is the fit and finish.
Oh yeah.
They went with ball bearings specifically because, like, I mean, look at this thing. It's so rough. I don't even think that's a parkerized finish. That has to be paint. Because it's too rough to be a parkerized finish. Whereas the real one is anodized, or is it parkerized?
Anodized.
Okay. Or like some sort of baked
If it's
finish?
titanium, it's probably anodized.
Yeah,
Okay. And
Well, not.
that's probably anodized. Yeah, on that guy.
also, this thing's only been in... We opened it only like a dozen times, and it's already got wear in the finish, which, I mean, over time, I guess it would get smoother, but it also gets sloppier. And the finish isn't holding up at all, and there's already wear grooves in it after a few uses, so this thing would start wobbling around over time, and there would be nothing you'd be able to do about it. Whereas this one, we open it and close it just as much because we're fucking tweakers and we have the nervous energy. And this one's still completely fine, so this would hold up over the test of time quite a bit better.
This is a very serious video, by the way.
It is.
We're like, all like, this is like really great.
None of the
so.
screws
Things-
have any sort of thread locker on them either.
But yeah,
Lazy.
probably not. Yeah, I'd be shocked if it did.
So there's a good way to find out if you got a fake or real of any of the Benchmades. I would assume have
Or send
all
it to
thread
Benchmade
locker on
Bugout.
it. So
Yeah. And then
They will keep your knife.
back to the mold making thing, and I'm sorry to beat this dead horse, but like,
Poor horse.
I know.
They're jerks, I've heard.
Quality mold makers don't come cheap. They
In China?
in general. Like their skills are sought after in China, and they're paid quite a
I
bit.
didn't know that.
Yeah, no, a quality mold maker is paid quite a bit. They're usually tool and die makers as well, and like this is a major cost saving. Getting a mold maker to make something like that is not fucking cheap, and let alone continually remaking the mold instead of using it till it's almost incomprehensibly worn inside.
I did not know that.
And like any fake Benchmade you pick up, I've seen a lot of them have, like, instead of coming with the Groovery scales or coming with G10 scales or something like that, they'll come with aluminum, because then they can cast and extrude and heat a bunch of aluminum shavings into a form and get that nice clean finish, and that's why they do that. But if it's got the plastic ones, cost saving wise, I bet you most of the Chinese ones are going to have this machine finish, or it's going to be a non-fiber reinforced plastic that looks smooth like that. And if it's non-fiber reinforced, it'll be really obvious.
spacers are not going to be any sort of way interchangeable either.
Okay.
These guys are a little bit larger in the screw size.
Are diameters larger too?
Yes.
Okay.
But the big thing is that Benchmade has grooves on each side, so they line up correctly.
So if you get the fake, you basically lock yourself out of any aftermarket parts.